Death Stranding 2 on the RTX 5060. You can see all the specs right here. The MSI Shadow version of the GPU, paired with the 9800 XVD and 64 GB of DDR5 memory, running at 6000 MHz, and nothing is overclocked. You can see everything is base speeds. And the latest NVIDIA driver, 595.97. So I'll be testing the game out on two different scenarios. One in the Sandstorm and the other one in the jungle area, which seems to be the most intensive so far, which takes away like about 20 FPS from the normal gameplay of the game, so which is kind of crazy. So that's why I'm testing those two areas. So let's see how it's going to be on 4K, 1440p, and 1080p. We'll be testing it until we get a stable 60 FPS experience. So let's see what we got. Damn, I just realized my nose, my side profile nose looked like Dracula's nose from Hotel Transylvania. If you guys have seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, let's jump into the video. So 4K settings, you can see I'm going to start it off on native anti-aliasing. So DLSS 4, okay. And everything maxed out with the ray tracing. I know it's stupid, but in this channel, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be stupid in whatever way I can possibly be. And I have the hardware. I'm going to test out whatever I can. That's how it's going to be. I'm going to load the game first in the Sandstorm area to see how far we can push things with this thing. And as you guys can see here, we are getting 7 FPS with a very high ray tracing reflections. And to be honest, that's kind of surprising. I was not expecting even getting 2 FPS with ray tracing very high. And again, this game's ray tracing implementation is not that great. It's just there. You know, there's nothing significant to it. And yeah, not worth it, but I just wanted to see how it's going to be. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Nah, bro, that's not a thumbs up, that's a thumbs down. And again, just to see if it's going to be playable or not, I'm going to put it to performance mode. This is the suggested way to play games on an 8GB card if you're playing on 4K. Let's see, that's going to take us to at least, yeah, that takes us to 22 FPS, 24. Okay, I guess that's playable. I mean, it's not great. It's kind of like a cinematic experience, but again, not great. We're like almost maxing out the GPU here. You definitely need more than 8GB to run 4K, especially maxed out. But 22 FPS here, not the best. But what about if I just turn on some frame gen? And again, this is not a good idea either because frame gen needs more VRAM. This is probably going to be a bad idea. It's going to make it even more laggier, but let's see. And I don't know why the latency is not applicable here. See, like I told you, it's like only 27 FPS. Now it's upscaled from 13. So definitely a terrible idea to turn on frame gen on 4K. Never do that, because on 4K you're anyways maxing out the video memory, so enabling frame gen is going to make it even worse. So terrible idea. So what I can say is just turn it off again for now, and then I'm going to go here and keep it on high settings. Seems to be a really sweet spot for this game, especially on 8GB GPUs. So let me just do that. DLSS performance high settings seems to be the perfect way to play this game. You can get 69 FPS even in this insane conditions. The scenario right here with the Sandstorm. So I'd say high settings is the best way to go on an 8GB card. And this is 1080p upscaled to 4K. You know, DLSS performance, but yeah, this is really playable. Even now we are like maxing out the GPU. You can see 7.8, so almost 7.9 gigabytes used. Pretty much maxing it out. But we're using almost 60% of the 9800 XVD here. So, but still, it's still GPU bound for the most part. So should be seeing around 60 to 65 FPS. That's going to be my recommended settings if you want to play it on 4K. And if you turn on some frame gen, it's not going to be as terrible as, you know, very high ray tracing. It's going to take you to, actually no, it's terrible. So instead of getting 60 FPS base, you're now getting only 33 FPS and getting 64 upscaled. So it pretty much doesn't make any sense to go from native high settings to trading on frame gen. Terrible idea, guys. So just keep it off. So high settings, you don't even need that. You can get 70 FPS without that. So why would you want to reduce your FPS by turning it on? So I'd say this is the best way to play it on high settings on 4K with DLSS performance. It's going to give you the best FPS out of it. And now I'm going to load it into the jungle and see how that's going to be. And now the jungle area is kind of really intensive. I don't know which one is more intensive. Is it the Snowstorm or the jungle? I think the jungle is more intensive. Because in the Snowstorm, we were getting 70 something FPS. But look at this. In the jungle, you're getting barely 60s. And there's a lot of these spiders. I don't know if they're going to be like... Are they harmful? I have no idea. I think they are. I have no idea, guys. If things harmful, I'm not going to go into them. Just going to go to the sides and kind of avoid them. They look harmless though. I played through this area like multiple times and they didn't attack me or anything. I just walked past them. But yeah, you can get 70 something FPS. So it's pretty much around the same kind of FPS that you can get here in the jungle and in the Snowstorm. So, I mean in the Sandstorm. Pretty good to see. So yeah, I'd say go for high settings in performance mode. That should be the best way to play it on 4K. If you ever want to play it on 4K on a 5060. The game looks pretty sharp. No issues whatsoever. So it's the best way to play it. So I just want to see how it's going to be if I play it in low settings. And then go to native just to see the capacity of this GPU on low settings. If you're like able to get at least 35 FPS on native low settings. In the jungle, yeah, close to 40 FPS. Okay, better than I expected. Yeah, and this is the worst case scenario, as jungle seems to be really intensive. So in other areas, you can pretty much get 60. Because the jungle actually takes away about 15 to 20 FPS. It's really tanking because of the vegetation, I believe. So I think, yeah, on low settings, you can actually get to 60 FPS, guys. So not bad at all. I guess that's it for 4K. Now we can go to 1440p, 1080p, where you guys are actually interested in seeing the performance compared to just 4K, because 99% of the people who owns a 5060 is going to be playing on 4K. Let's be real here. So that's exactly what I'm doing, 1440p. You know what, guys? I just realized the recording was actually on 1080p up until this point. So the 4K footage is going to look kind of shittier because I didn't realize it was on 1080p, the output resolution. So yeah, I apologize for the shitty quality on the 4K settings, but on 1440p and 1080p is going to be okay. So yeah, man, mistakes have been made. And I do not wish to re-record everything because it's not going to be authentic, you know, as this is the first time I'm playing the game with you guys and it has to be authentic. So just going to roll with it, is whatever. So now we're on 1440p and native settings. And let me put it back to high. Seems like that's going to be playable, which I don't think it's going to be, but let's see. Still in the area. Wait, getting 60 FPS. Really? On native and DLSS, we're getting 60 FPS in the jungle. On 1440p. Are you kidding me? Wow. Okay. That's actually amazing. High settings is all you need then. Can pretty much max out the game on 1440p. I mean, not max out, but 60 FPS is pretty great on native 1440p high settings. You know what I mean? And there comes more of these spiders. See, like I said, like just walk past them. They're not going to do anything, I guess. So I was not expecting that at all. So that shows you how optimized this game is. What if I go to very high? I'm not going to max out on ray tracing because that's pretty pointless. Because very high seems to be playable too. So very high actually takes us to 28. So that's a big dip. Okay, so I wasn't expecting that. 40 FPS here. Still not terrible. Still pretty playable. And again, this is the jungle area, which is really intensive. So outside of this, you should be able to play it pretty well. So just keep it going. 38 FPS. So might be able to pull off a 60 FPS if you just put it on DLSS quality. Maybe not, but let me see. And very high. You know what? Yeah, we can get 60 FPS. You're on DLSS quality. Kind of. It's gonna dip here and there, but man, this is really solid, guys. Rumor gas. Is that the name of a player? Alright, 60 FPS, guys. So that's pretty nice. I'm not even gonna lie, but if you do this, you look at it like this from a distance, it's going to dip into 52. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. So I'm going to try going to the Sandstorm because I want to see how that's going to be here. It's going to be the similar kind of experience, I believe. 54 FPS, 60. So I think Sandstorm is way more intensive because we're barely getting 60 here. Very high settings. Yeah, guys, so 46, 49. So yeah, Sandstorm definitely is more intensive than the jungle. So there you go. And again, this is like 2% of the game. You only do this for 5 minutes, you know, so it's not a big deal at all. Playing this like this with 50 FPS is totally playable. I say just play it on very high settings and DLSS quality on 1440p. That's gonna be the best option. But if you want a really smooth experience, just go to high settings. Keep it on high and max it out on native. But I want to see how it's gonna be with FrameGen. I don't know why the latency meter is not working with the 5060 right now. And again, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's whatever. But you won't be able to notice a major input lag at all on 2x FrameGen anyways. Especially when you have 60 FPS base frames. I'm hoping that's going to be the case here as well. I don't know why the game has frozen up. Let's see. Okay. What? I don't know what the hell happened. I think it's just frozen up, crashed or whatever. Just have to restart the game. We're waiting here for like 5 minutes. Alright, we're back in the game after restart. And the reason why it crashes or freezes up like that is mostly because it's trying to allocate more memory. Launching in offline mode. What the hell is going on with my internet? But anyways, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's trying to allocate more memory to process the FrameGen. Because, you know, it needs to save up some space to get it working properly. So that's why it's trying to do that. Not all games do that. But sometimes some games just straight up crash. And again, on 1440p, turning on FrameGen, it's a terrible idea because now you're wasting, like what? Look at that. Only getting 28 base FPS, which is terrible. Turning on FrameGen on 1440p with this card in this game is a bad idea. Even if you go to 4x, you're gonna get more than 100 FPS, but look at the base frames. Not even 100, you only get 77. And now I can feel the input lag a little bit. Can get 100 FPS upscale from 27, which is terrible, you know. So definitely not worth it, guys. I'd say just put it back to either high settings and native or DLSS quality very high and no FrameGen at all. So that's gonna be my recommended settings to play this game on 1440p. I know it's not that great here, only getting 57 FPS. But again, this is a really small portion of the game. Even the jungle area seems to be working really well. So yeah, this is going to be my recommended settings to play the game on 1440p with the 5060. Really solid. And now we are on 1080p here, native anti-aliasing and very high. Let me see if I can get to 60. Well, yeah. Well, this is pretty much DLSS quality on 1440p here. Now that's a native 1080p. And you can get 50 something FPS, 45 here and there, but it doesn't matter, like I said. Now, you're only doing walking back and forth, pretty much, nothing else. So this is actually really good. On 1080p you can max out the game, pretty much, except that you don't have ray tracing enabled. But again, not a big visual difference at all in this game. So 46 FPS here, we are still using 7.2 gigabytes of memory. We turn on FrameGen, I don't think it's going to be that great. 46 FPS, are you kidding me? I don't think it's actually working as intended though. There's some memory buffer issue going on because you can see the RAM is at almost 30 gigabyte use, so there is a memory leak actually going on right now. That's why it's like terrible, even with FrameGen on 1080p. So I might need to restart the game. I'm gonna go back to title screen and see if that's gonna fix it. And it actually takes us to 73. Still not what we're looking for, you know. We were getting almost 50 FPS, so 2x FrameGen should have been able to get us to 100, almost 100 FPS, but that's not the case here. And that's Yeah, there's like basically no difference at all. This and compared to the other one. So I'm just gonna see how it's gonna be in the jungle. Actually, I'm gonna go in and try to shoot up some bandits, because that's my next mission. And over here you can get pretty much the same 74 FPS with 2x frame gen. So similar kind of performances in the Sandstorm and over here. Not a difference at all. So it's just better to play it without it, and even playing it on DLSS quality. And now frame gen is going to be way better than having it turned on. 56 FPS, 54, 68, 70, there it is. Now it's picking it up. 60 FPS here. Almost 60 FPS with DLSS quality on very high. Again, that's not ideal, you know. I gotta build this thing again. So only getting about 60 FPS here. So I'm gonna say just keep it to high settings, guys. That's the best way to do it. And native anti-aliasing, high settings, 65. Pretty solid right there. So, and most people are gonna be playing the game on 1080p settings. And if you're on a different area of the map, like in the desert, you can see at least 80 FPS instead of 60. So this is actually not bad. High settings on 1080p native, pretty good. I need to mark these people. So that's all good. Now let's go in there and kill some. Let me see how that's gonna be. So there you have it, guys. If you want a really solid experience, let's go native and play it on high settings. I don't think it's gonna go below 60 FPS. Crouch down a little bit. Might be able to take him out without doing any shooting. Yeah, it should be easy. There it is, takedown. And if I turn on frame gen here, that'd be a problem. Hopefully now, but we are still maxing out on the GPU, so I don't know. That's going to be a good idea. Actually, no, we are actually getting 91. This is what it's supposed to be. But now we are losing FPS again, 45 upscale to 90. Again, not necessary, because this game can lock it on 60 FPS and have a really amazing time. It's a PS5 title, so PS5 games mostly are locked to 60 FPS, especially story-based games. So if you're getting 60 FPS solid, then you don't need frame gen at all, to be honest. But let me just see on 4x frame gen, because why not? Taking us to 120 FPS. Trick road. How many people are here, right? I gotta go take that guy out first, I believe. I'm not gonna do that. But you guys can see here 121 FPS with 4x frame gen upscale from 30 FPS, which is kind of terrible. I wouldn't play it like this. I would just stick to native DLAA and play it like that without any frame gen. Much better. So yeah, this is Death Stranding 2 on the RTX 5060. Really playable experience, just to keep it on high settings. Even on 1440p, it's pretty playable, like we just saw. So there you have it, guys. What do you guys think about it? It's a really well optimized game so far. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more benchmarks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy and peace out.